Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will dive into the massive, earth-shattering news that Sheila Carter has been killed off after a fatal cliffside struggle with Deacon Sharp, marking Kimberlin Brown's official exit from the show to join The Young and the Restless. And I am just sitting here, staring at my screen, because I cannot believe what I am writing right now. I really can't. So let's get right into it, because this is huge. This is the biggest thing to happen on this soap in years, maybe decades. But honestly, I am still shaking. Sheila Carter is dead. Dead, dead. Not fake dead, not bear attack dead, not missing a toe dead. Actually dead. At the bottom of the cliff, outside Steffi's house. And it was Deacon who did it. Deacon Sharp, her husband, the man who loved her, the man who hid her, and he pushed her. Accidentally, sure, but he pushed her, and now she is gone. So let me just dump all this information on you because my brain is running a million miles a minute. I have been typing furiously since I got the notes and the timeline updates because we all knew Sheila was mad. We all saw the spoilers about her confronting Taylor Hayes in her office. We knew about the pizza cutter, which was crazy enough. Waving a pizza cutter around a psychiatric office is peak Sheila. But that wasn't the end of it. Because Sheila Carter does not stop at pizza cutters. She escalates. She always escalates. And this time she escalated right off a cliff, literally. But let's back up, because the context here is just insane. Deacon and Taylor, the most unlikely couple ever. I mean, I have said on this channel 100 times that Taylor is supposed to be this world-renowned psychiatrist, but she falls for Deacon Sharp, the guy who was married to the woman who shot her? Make it make sense. But they fell in love. Real love, not just a fling. And that is what broke Sheila's brain, because Sheila can handle a lot of things. She can handle being hated. She can handle being an outcast. But she cannot handle being replaced, especially not by Taylor Hayes, the woman she has despised for literal decades. So Sheila finds out, and she loses her absolute mind, and she decides that yelling in an office isn't enough, because Sheila needs blood. She always needs blood. So she grabs a sharp knife, a real knife this time, and she heads to the Cliff House. And I just have to stop here and ask why the Cliff House is always the scene of the crime. I mean, seriously. Steffi Forrester's house has seen more trauma than a hospital emergency room. People get shot in the alley behind Il Giardino, sure, but the Cliff House is where the real dramatic showdowns happen. The wind blowing, the waves crashing, the sheer drop to the rocks below. It is practically begging for a soap opera tragedy. And Sheila breaks in. She just breaks right into the Cliff House with this giant, sharp knife. And her intention is clear. She is going to kill Taylor. She wants to end Taylor's life. Because in Sheila's twisted, unhinged mind, if Taylor is dead, then Deacon comes back to her. Which is just so profoundly stupid. But that is Sheila. She doesn't think about the day after the murder. She just thinks about the murder. And Taylor is there, and Taylor is terrified, and honestly, I don't blame her. I would be terrified too. Imagine turning around in that beautiful living room and seeing Sheila Carter with crazy eyes and a butcher knife. But then Deacon shows up, Deacon Sharp, the knight in shining armor who is also the guy who caused this entire mess. And Deacon bursts through the door, and he sees his wife, his crazy, violent, unpredictable wife about to slaughter his new girlfriend. And Deacon panics. Of course he panics. Because he knows what Sheila is capable of. He knows she isn't bluffing. She has shot people before. She shot Finn, she shot Steffi, she shot Taylor years ago. Sheila does not play around with weapons. When she pulls a knife, she intends to use it. So Deacon jumps in. He tries to stop his crazy wife. And I can just picture the scene, the yelling, the screaming, Deacon begging Sheila to put the knife down, pleading with her, telling her that he is the one who messed up, telling her to take it out on him. Because Deacon actually has a heart. A very flawed, very stupid heart, but a heart nonetheless. He wants to protect Taylor, but he also doesn't want to hurt Sheila. Because he did love her. He married her. He stood by her when the whole world told him he was an idiot. And now he is standing in Steffi's living room trying to wrestle a deadly weapon out of her hands. And it is a fierce struggle. A really violent, messy struggle. They are pushing and pulling. The knife is flashing in the moonlight. Taylor is probably screaming in the background. and they end up outside, out on the patio, right near the edge of the cliff. And this is where it just goes completely off the rails. Because the patio at the cliff house is a death trap. We all know it. I have said it in my vlogs for years. Someone needs to build a higher fence because people are always teetering on the edge of that thing. And they are fighting, and Deacon is just trying to disarm her. He is just trying to save Taylor's life. He isn't trying to be a murderer. He is just trying to survive the night. And in the chaos, in the sheer panic of the moment, Deacon pushes her. He shoves Sheila hard to get the knife away from her, to get her away from Taylor, and he pushes her too hard, where she slips, where the momentum just carries her backwards, and Sheila goes over the edge. And I can't even imagine the silence that followed that. The sound of her falling, the sound of the ocean, and then the impact. Because she didn't just fall into the water and swim away. No, she hit the rocks. She fell into the deep, unforgiving abyss outside that mansion, and she died on the spot. Sheila Carter, the ultimate villain of daytime television, dead, just like that, pushed off a cliff by her own husband. But wait, it gets crazier, because they weren't alone. Steffi and Finn were there, they witnessed it, they saw the whole thing happen, and my jaw literally dropped when I read that part of the notes. Because think about the psychological damage this is going to do to Finn. John Finnegan, the man who has spent the last few years agonizing over his connection to this monster, he gave her a chance, he hugged her, he called her mom, and then she shot him, and then she came back. And he struggled with his feelings for her. And now he has to watch her die. He literally stands there and watches his biological mother plummet to her death. That is going to require years of therapy. Years. And Steffi, oh my God, Steffi. Steffi Forrester Finnegan has wanted Sheila dead for as long as I can remember. Steffi has prayed for this day. Steffi has demanded this day. But to actually see it happen, to see a human being fall off a cliff right in her own backyard, that is horrifying. Even if it is your worst enemy, even if it is the woman who terrorized your family, watching someone die violently is not something you just shake off. But honestly, I bet a tiny part of Steffi felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The nightmare is finally over. The monster is dead. And she didn't even have to pull the trigger this time. But the real tragedy here, the real emotional core of this entire messy, clunky, chaotic storyline is Deacon. Because Deacon is completely devastated. He is broken. He looks down over that cliff and realizes what he has just done. He killed his wife. He killed the woman who went through so many storms with him. They had this weird, twisted, beautiful bond. When everyone else hated them, they had each other. They lived in that little apartment. They worked at the restaurant. They built a life together. A crazy life, but a life. And Deacon threw it all away for Taylor. And now, because of his choices, Sheila is dead by his own hands. And I just have to say, I feel bad for Deacon. I really do. Because it was self-defense. He was defending Taylor. If he hadn't pushed Sheila, Taylor would be dead right now. Sheila would have carved her up. Deacon did what he had to do to save an innocent life. But he still has to live with the fact that he took a life. And not just any life. Sheila's life. The guilt is going to eat him alive. How is he supposed to look at Taylor now? Every time he looks at Taylor, he is going to see Sheila falling. Every time he kisses Taylor, he is going to remember the blood on the rocks. This romance is tainted forever. It is cursed. And let's talk about the real world implications of this. Because this isn't just a character dying. This is an actor leaving. Kimberlin Brown, the absolute legend, the woman who has defined the soap opera villain for over 30 years. She has officially confirmed that she is leaving the cast of The Bold and the Beautiful. She is out, done, finished. And she is leaving a massive gaping hole in the show. Because let's be real, guys. Love her or hate her, Sheila Carter brought the drama. When the show was boring, you could always count on Sheila to shoot someone, or fake her own death, or cut off a toe. She was the engine that drove the craziest plots. And now she is gone. But she isn't retiring. Oh no. Kimberlin Brown is taking her talents back to Genoa City. She's going to focus on the young and the restless. And I am screaming. Because if you know soap history, you know that Sheila Carter started on Y&R. She terrorized Lauren Fenmore long before she ever set foot in Los Angeles. She stole a baby. She caused fires. She was a menace, and now she is going back. Which is confusing, right? Because if Sheila is dead on B&B, how is she going to Y&R? Is she playing a twin? Is she playing a ghost? Is the timeline different? I don't even care. I just want to see Kimberlin Brown back on my screen terrorizing Lauren Fenmore. Because Laura needs a good storyline anyway. But back to B&B. What happens now? What happens tomorrow? Ridge Forrester is going to lose his mind. We already knew from the timeline that Ridge was going on a tirade just hearing about the pizza cutter incident. Imagine what Ridge is going to do when he finds out there is a dead body at his daughter's house. He is going to explode. He is going to blame Deacon. He is going to blame Taylor. He is going to say, I told you so a million times. And honestly, Ridge is kind of right for once. He warned Taylor, Steffi warned Taylor, they all knew Deacon was trouble. They all knew Sheila was a ticking time bomb. And Taylor just arrogantly thought she could handle it. Well, she couldn't, and now someone is dead. And what about Hope? Hope Logan has been defending her dad. Hope has been telling everyone that Deacon has it under control. Deacon told Hope he had it under control. And now Hope is going to get a phone call saying her dad just committed manslaughter on a cliffside. Hope is going to be devastated. She is going to have to rally around her father while he faces potential police investigations. Because you know Chief Baker is going to show up with his hot dog and start asking questions. Even with Steffi and Finn as witnesses saying it was self-defense, there is going to be an investigation. You don't just push someone off a cliff and go home to eat pasta at Il Giardino. There are consequences. But honestly, I am still stuck on the visual of the fall. The sheer cinematic drama of it. The Bold and the Beautiful loves a good cliff fall. We have seen people go over before. Ridge fell out of a helicopter into the ocean. Thomas fell off a cliff. But this feels different. This feels final. The way the notes describe it. Sheila dies on the spot. There is no ambiguity there. There is no washing out to sea and being rescued by a mysterious stranger. She hit the rocks. She is dead. The reign of terror is over. And I have to wonder how Taylor is going to process this. Taylor is a psychiatrist. She helps people deal with trauma, but she has so much unhealed trauma of her own. She was shot by this exact same woman. She died and came back. And now she is the catalyst for this woman's actual death. Taylor is going to spiral. I can feel it. I know the spoilers said Taylor and Deacon were going to go public and fight for their love. But how do you fight for love when the foundation of your relationship is a fresh corpse? Taylor is going to feel so guilty. She is going to blame herself for pushing Sheila over the edge emotionally, which led to Deacon pushing her over the edge physically. So let's break down the timeline of how fast this escalated, because it is crazy. Just a few days ago, Sheila was suspicious. Then she corners Taylor in the office, the pizza cutter. Then Deacon tells Hope everything is fine. Then Sheila goes home, and they have a heartbreaking conversation where Deacon asks for a divorce, and Sheila says she will walk away. She literally promised not to do anything that would land her in prison. She promised to take the high road, and we all knew that was a lie. I said it in my last video. Sheila Carter does not take the high road. She takes the low road. And the low road led straight to the cliff house with a butcher knife. She couldn't handle the rejection. She couldn't handle the fact that Deacon chose Taylor. It wasn't just about losing her husband. It was about losing to Taylor Hayes. That is the ultimate insult to Sheila. And so she snapped. A complete psychotic break. She broke into that house with murder on her mind. And she paid the ultimate price for it. And I just keep thinking about Kimberlin Brown. What a run. What an absolute legendary run on daytime TV. She created a character that terrified generations of viewers. When you heard that dramatic music cue, you knew Sheila was lurking behind a potted plant. You knew she had a crazy scheme. You knew someone was going to end up in the hospital. And she played it with such conviction, even when the writing was absolutely ridiculous. Even when she was wearing a fake face mask. Even when she was attacked by a bear. Kimberlin Brown sold every single ridiculous plotline they gave her. And she deserves all the respect in the world. Y&R is incredibly lucky to have her back, but B&B is going to feel so empty without her. Who is the villain now? Who is going to bring the danger? Bill Spencer is too soft these days. Thomas is reformed. We don't have a real unhinged villain anymore. The canvas is just full of people arguing about fashion lines and who is kissing who in the design office. We need stakes, and Sheila brought stakes. Life or death, stakes. And now those stakes are buried at the bottom of a cliff. So I guess we will see how the fallout happens. I expect the next few weeks to be nothing but tears, police tape, and Ridge Forrester yelling at everyone. Steffi is probably going to kick Taylor out, because even though Taylor is her mother, Steffi cannot have this kind of chaos around her children. Kelly and Hayes sleep in that house, and a woman was just murdered on their patio. Steffi is going to draw a hard line. She is going to tell Taylor that her romance with Deacon is toxic and dangerous, and it has to end. But will Deacon and Taylor end it? The notes say Deacon is devastated, but he killed for her. When you kill for someone, that binds you to them in a really dark, messed up way. They share this horrible secret now. Well, not a secret, because Steffi and Finn saw it, but they share this trauma. Deacon might cling to Taylor because she is the only thing he has left. He threw away his marriage, he killed his wife, he might lose his restaurant if the bad press ruins Il Giardino. Taylor is his only lifeline, and Taylor might feel obligated to stay with him because he saved her life. It is a trauma bond, a classic textbook trauma bond. And as a psychiatrist, Taylor should recognize that. But she won't, because soap characters never use their actual professional skills on themselves. And what about Daphne and Carter? They are sitting around waiting for pregnancy test results while literal murder is happening across town. The pacing of this show is so wild. One minute you have people hoping for a baby, and the next minute a legacy character is plummeting to her death on sharp rocks. It is mental whiplash. But that is why we watch, right? That is why we tune in every single day. So guys, I need you to hit the comments right now. I need to know how you are feeling about this. Are you glad Sheila is finally dead? Do you think Deacon belongs in prison for manslaughter? Or was it justified self-defense? And how excited are you to see Kimberlin Brown head over to The Young and the Restless? Because I am buzzing. I am absolutely buzzing. This is soap opera history happening right before our eyes. The death of Sheila Carter. The end of an era. And honestly, I am going to miss her. I really am. The show is going to be a lot less interesting without a nine-toed psychopath running around Los Angeles causing absolute mayhem. Rest in peace, Sheila Carter. You were the absolute worst, and we loved watching every single terrible thing you did. Okay, I need to go drink some water and calm down because my heart rate is through the roof. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell because I will be back tomorrow with a full breakdown of the police investigation and Ridge's inevitable meltdown. Until then, stay safe, don't stand too close to any cliffs, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.